Caesar. I can't think of any other introduction. War for the Planet of the Apes is directed by Matt Reeves and is the final installment of the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the reboot, the second reboot. Let's not think about 2001. We don't really want to think about that at all. But of the original Planet of the Apes from 1968 and forward, these original films are cemented in my childhood. Insert Chris Stuckman meme. I really did grow up with these films. My dad and I watched these all the time. Starting with, obviously Planet of the Apes. Going from there, we went to the Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which is an awesome, fantastic sequel to that. Then we had Escape, which goes back all the way back in time. And then we have Conquest for the Planet of the Apes, and then we finally have Battle for the Planet of the Apes. And they've each progressively gotten a little bit worse from that moment on. But once 2011 hit, we finally had an actual reboot with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And this movie floored me the first time I saw it. It's one of my favorite movies with James Franco in it, and Andy Serkis did such fantastic job just playing Caesar. And I honestly was kind of floored by the performance so much that this is definitely one of my favorite films from 2011. So I was really excited when I heard that War for the Planet of the Apes was coming out. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was good. I didn't like it as much as I liked Rise from the Planet of the Apes. I had a lot more connection to Rise. But I thought the technology and the animation and how all the filmmakers, with Matt Reeves included, really figured out, and they figured out the formula really, really well. And finally, we hit today with War for the Planet of the Apes, and that movie is a very cemented block into the trilogy, and it made for the entire film experience one wonderful, wonderful experience, and I'm glad that they're making this a trilogy and ending it on the block. So let me tell you about some of the things that I really enjoyed about the film. I'll tell you a little bit about the plot. I'm not going to go too much into detail. I'm going to tell you about some things I really liked and some things I didn't like, and then I'll give you my overall grade. So we start off in the woods. There's these military-ish men with some other apes. We don't know why those other apes in there. We'll get to that in a second. They're sneaking up on an encampment, they're trying to locate Caesar, and they're trying to end Caesar's life. That way they can finally move on and try to, get back, the planet that they've lost over the last 15 years. And I really enjoyed the opening credits. It kind of explains the story a little bit in just like one little paragraph-esque things, and then, it has Rise, and then has Dawn, and then has War, which is a fantastic cut in, and I actually really enjoyed that. It moves on from there. So the story moves on from there. It's pretty much Caesar trying to get revenge on Woody Harrelson for what he did during some of these initial struggles that they've been encountering, and they're just trying to escape. Caesar is just trying to make up for what Koba started, and that's literally what he's trying to do. From there, Caesar, I'm going to transition from a little bit some of the summary because I don't really want to explain too much, but some of the elements of this film I really enjoyed because Caesar really grew as a character. You can see from Rise all the way to War that he was this docile / kind of adamant figure, but also a leader. And he's taking baby steps all the way to the end of War for Planet of the Apes. He's trying to grapple with his situation, trying to be a leader, but also at the same time giving in to his animal instincts, but also at the same time seeing if he can handle mankind for all of its wrongdoings. There's this wonderful addition into this film where this little girl, Maurice, who's one of the best characters in this entire franchise, the orangutan, saves, but she's mute. And that's something that I really enjoyed about this film too, because if you've seen the original Planet of the Apes, back all the way out to 68, the men and the women in these films, the humans, they really can't speak, and we don't really know why. And War for the Planet of the Apes really delves into this, and I thought that was fascinating. I'm not going to get into too much of it, but they're trying to, some of the men and women are starting to become a little bit mute and getting a little bit more primal in their instincts. And I thought that was really interesting, and I actually think it's a cool connection to, I think, a tie-in to what the future holds. Obviously, in 1968, with with the original Planet of the Apes, where that goes into that. And I thought that was really interesting aspect of this. But going back to that little girl, though, talking about Caesar a little bit, I thought that was a good juxtaposition they added to the character, because Caesar was hellbent on revenge for something that Woody Harrelson did in this film. and this little girl is the saving grace, trying to bring him back to the ape that he was. You know, the love that he had for James Franco in the original film. He still cares for humankind, but also at the same time he can't trust them. So he doesn't know where to stand. And that's something about this film that I really, really enjoyed. And overall thought this was a brilliant piece. The pacing was fantastic in this film. The cinematography, the technology was just, I mean, it's advanced since 2011, obviously, but it's just really done so much work. So overall, I thought this movie was so fantastic. Now, there's only one con that I really, really saw in this, and it was Steve Zahn. His character, he comes into the movie a little bit in the halfway point, and I really don't understand why his character's there. I understand that it's supposed to be comedic effect, and you'll see in the film if you watch it. But I feel like a lot of the times it's flat and does not really add too much to the story, and that's something that took me a little bit out of the movie, but I understood why he was there, because it's a very serious tone. The tone is very abysmal. It's post-apocalyptic in a sense, and they're trying to figure out, you know, obviously it's War for the Planet of the Apes. The title itself doesn't really lend too much in the niceties of what the movie's about. So there's a little bit of humor, but I feel like, you know, the compassion and the humanity, that was for Maurice and Caesar, and there was a little bit of comedy for Steve Zahn's character, but the comedy really did not hit too well. But overall, I think this movie was just phenomenal. But anyways, I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 5. This is definitely one of my favorite films this year. I definitely go watch this movie. Definitely own this movie if you can in any capacity, because it is a phenomenal movie on its own. But definitely watch the trilogy from Rise all the way up to War of the Planet of the Apes, the newest one. But also check out the original first 5. Don't watch the 2001 version. You don't have to do that at all. But if you watch this first, you will understand some of the really awesome additions into War of the Planet of the Apes that I caught. There's some character name drops. There's some things that happen in there, you know, that I really, really enjoyed, that tie in to the original Planet of the Apes, which I thought was just a really welcome addition. However, I'm going to stop ranting about this film and make this short and sweet. Definitely go check this movie out. It is one of the best movies this year, for sure. One of the best trilogies. Let me know how I'm doing down below. Give me a like, comment down below, share, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.